Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Plain Talk Live for your Monday. I'm here with you with my good friend Jay Thomas. Do vaccination selfies bug you? They apparently bug some people, which I don't understand. I feel like we have some snowflakes in the audience, but everything about the COVID vaccine is just so divisive. Everybody gets upset about everything all the time, and I don't really understand the overreaction. But anyway, here to chat with me about that a little bit is my good friend Jay Thomas from WDAY Radio in Fargo. Jay, how you doing this Monday?
Hey, how you doing, brother? How was your weekend?
It was good spring cleanup weekend for me.
Oh boy! All right, the fun. We have it here too in the metro area. You put the stuff out, put it out there nice, because I know, like in West Fargo, they want you building material here, this here, put it different stacks, and you'll do that. Then the trolls will come by, and I have no problem. Hey, look, I've grabbed stuff from spring cleanup week, but don't leave a mess.
Yeah.
Put things back the way you found them.
It is. The folks.
That's what irks me.
I'll tell you, because my daughter's boyfriend and we're getting rid of a couch and an old recliner that are just too rotten to try to sell. I mean, they've seen their use. One of them was the one that the kids have been using in the back. So they're always eating food and stuff on it, and it's just no way anybody's buying that thing. So we put it out on the curb. We put some other stuff. I kind of cleaned out the shed, had some old crap in there, and put it out on the curb. And I came in and I was doing the dishes and looking out the front window, and within 10 minutes, there were people on the curb going through the stuff we put out there, looking for treasure, I guess. But hey, you know what? If they can find something they can use or whatever, better than it going to the dump. Just
exactly. Have you ever had this experience? I've actually put stuff out on the curb, and right away people come grab it, and a day later they bring it back. It's like, really?
like it's Menards, or so you're just gonna return it?
Yeah, they just and it was furniture that they brought back.
Did you go out and ask for the receipt? Hopefully they brought it back before the day when they came and picked it up, though. Like they didn't just come.
No, they didn't. It was after pickup.
Are you kidding me? So now it's just your problem again?
I kid you not. Kid you.
Wow.
Fargo's always been good. I mean, I still don't understand at least why in West Fargo we have a spring cleanup week, because you can basically put all that stuff out there any garbage day and they're going to take it.
It used to be that way in Minot, but now we've got the dedicated garbage can. So if it don't fit in your can, they ain't taking it.
Oh wow, okay.
Unless I think maybe you could call them and schedule them to come by or something like that. Otherwise you got to haul it out to the dump, which if you don't have a pickup truck or something, it's not always very convenient.
That's why you got to have one of those buddies on standby that have that pickup truck.
Hey, do vaccine selfies bug you? Like, are you upset about our friend Scott Hennon had a column, and I kind of responded to it because I don't understand the people who are upset. And I've done it twice, because I got the Moderna vaccine, and I had to get 2 shots. Both times, one, I think I took a little picture of the sticker thing they gave me that was on my coat, and then the second time I made a joke about I was now available in the fully vaccinated variety. And both times, man, just hundreds of comments like, "Why do you got to shove it in our face? Who cares? It's your private business. Why are you doing that?" Well, why are people so upset about this?
Well, wait a minute. Number one, if you don't like it, then get off Rob's Facebook page. It's Rob's Facebook page. It's Rob's social media, just like it's my social media. I'll get that too. I'll put comments up about this or that, or a story I might be doing on the radio show, and I'll get the trolls on there. Why are you putting this on your page? Why are you talking about this? Number one, this is my Facebook page, and number two, it's my radio show. If you don't like it, get off my page. Don't listen. When it comes to selfies, it's the same thing. Look, if you don't want to see Rob's selfies or my selfies or whoever's selfies, then what are you doing on their page?
Yeah.
Unfriend them, block them, do whatever. When it comes to the only selfies I don't like are the ones, oh God, I hate this, where people are showing their food half eaten. Look, I love food, okay? Here, I can prove it. Yeah. All right? Look, I don't want to see your food after you've eaten half of it. Take the picture of it before you eat it. Vaccines, I don't care. If you put a vaccine selfie up there, I'm not losing my mind over it.
it just Hennon's column, and it kind of tweaked me because it was like, he's all upset, and it's the argument, I guess, is that people are being sanctimonious or they're being preachy, and let's be honest, there is plenty of sanctimony and preachiness going on all sides of the debate over COVID.
Yeah.
Everybody is so touchy about everything. Yesterday, somebody was telling me it makes them mad if your profile picture is of you wearing a mask or something. They get upset about that. And heck, I posted pictures of my kids and I out and about, and throughout the pandemic. And at times we're wearing masks where it's appropriate. I snap a picture of us when we're out at an event or we're out doing something or whatever, and we happen to be wearing masks. And people are like, "Why are you wearing masks? You're outside," or like they have some snarky. Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, during the pandemic, Alex and I, we didn't hunker down. We'd go out and selfies too. Her and I somewhere without masks on, and as you know, I've been an anti-masker, and to each their own, and I get the same thing. So why aren't you wearing a mask? How can you put this up on social media? You know what? Again, get off my page if you don't like it.
I understand that for you and I, maybe the experience is a little bit different than other people, because you and I use our Facebooks to invite discussion all the time.
Yeah.
So maybe people have a hard time. And honestly, it doesn't bother me. I just don't understand it. Like, it never bothers me when people want to disagree. And I'll talk. I include facts about my personal life and my work all the time. I'll write a column and talk about this, that, or the other thing. I just don't understand why we're so divided on this. Why are vaccines so divisive in our country?
Because politics, Rob, has been put into it. The whole COVID thing from day one. Well, let's not say day one. Couple days into it, it turned into politics. And anytime politics is involved in anything, this is what happens. I don't know if you saw this story or not. Speaking of people being divisive in politics and Corona and all that, there was a company. I was just reading the story this morning. I don't know if you saw this. The CEO of the company said, "Look, you know what? I don't want you talking politics at the office. I don't want this here."
Well, that was
Let's talk about work. And I think it was a third of the staff quit.
Yeah. Now, it wasn't a huge staff. I think Base Camp is the name of the company.
That's it, Base Camp.
And I think they're an internet company. They're a tech company. And I think they do something related to like coding. I'm not real sure. I've seen the name. I'm not real sure what the company does. But you're right. So they put out a memo because they had some issues where people were using like internal company forums to publish a lot of stuff about politics, and his argument was, kind of do that stuff on your own time, right? I mean, if you're gonna here at work, we're gonna focus on work, which to me is almost kind of a throwback position, right? I mean, it used to be like leave your politics at the door. Don't start arguments in the break room. Don't start arguments, out in front of customers or whatever. If you're at work, you're focused on work. If you want to do politics, do it on your own time. But there's been this new thing where we invite politics into everything. And listen, I do politics for a living. I believe very much that everybody has a right to live their lives in accordance with their convictions, whether they're political or religious or what have you. How you view those things is important, and it's a part of you. And I can understand if you have strong convictions and you don't want to violate those convictions. Listen, I get it. But that's not an invitation to turn every platform or every venue that's available for you into a political debate, right? At some point, you just have to accept, listen, some of your coworkers, some of your neighbors, some of the people living around you don't agree with you.
Right.
And just accept that. And you don't agree with them, and it's okay. We live in that sort of a country. We've forgotten, I say this all the time, Jay, the price of living in a society like ours is you're going to run into some people who are saying or doing some stuff you don't like. And you're just going to have to deal with it.
That's part of freedom. It's the same thing. I when the weather's nice, it's our men's night. And I have the neighborhood guys and have some other buddies. They come over, we hang out in the garage, the driveway on Friday nights and have some beverages.
I'm going to have to make it to West Fargo for one of these one time.
You're more than welcome to come over. It's not an all night thing. It's a couple, 2-3 hours. But the one rule I've always had, Rob, is that there will be no politics discussed. We could talk about anything else, This is an opportunity for, because I've got buddies that are, on the left, on the right, in the middle, all over, and they do come over. We do not do this because this should be our time just to sit down and just have a good time, talk about what's going on in our lives, talk about the hot new. No, I better not bring that up. You know what I'm saying? It's just no politics, and it's worked out fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic.
And again, I like talking about politics. I mean, again, I do it for a living, and the reason why I do it is I love it. And so I don't mind it, but I will tell you that I get into social settings sometimes where people just, I am who I am. I'm something of a public figure, and so people come over and they want to get really. If somebody wants to come over and just chat, right, and talk about some issue and say, hey, I saw you wrote this and I disagree or whatever, I'll have that conversation 100%. But also, you have to be cognizant of, if there's people around you, some people don't want, they're uncomfortable about it. So, take the temperature of the room and look around you a little bit and decide, is this an appropriate venue for having a political discussion? And also, don't get super aggressive with me. We're not, if you disagree with me, you're not going to come up and start shouting at me or talking really aggressively to me and get me to change my mind. That's
right.
Do you think that works? You're just going to get super aggressive with people? Yeah,
don't bully me around and don't tell me what I should think or how I should feel. And like I said, with the whole Friday night garage hangout thing, it's like, you're right. You take the temperature of the room. Well, I know what that temperature is going to be. Right. There's a half a dozen guys out there drinking beer, and we're definitely not all on the same page. So I know where this is going to end up going. And I'm like you, people will come out, and I'm not a real big political guy. You know that. I mean, I like talking local issues and stuff like that, but I'll have the same thing. A lot of people come up to me, hey, I heard you say this, or what do you? That's fine. That's you and me one-on-one. But again, when there's a group of folks around, you're right. There's some people there that they don't feel comfortable. They don't want to get into this, but this is what happened too with COVID. COVID has turned political. First, it was the masks. Well, first of the lockdowns, then the masks, and now we're out of the vaccines. And we shouldn't be surprised by the vaccination thing. We knew this was coming.
Yeah. Well, vaccinations were controversial. For some people, were controversial.
Even before this.
So that's unfortunate. What do you think about Senator Kevin Cramer? And obviously we both know Kevin. I like Kevin a lot. I know you do too.
Yeah.
He has taken a position. I'm reading, this is from over the weekend, our reporter Sam Easter. The headline is, Senator Kevin Cramer in Vax poll of region's elected leaders won't disclose status. This is the quote from the story. Out of respect for the North Dakotans who value their liberty and privacy, I will not be detailing the specifics of my vaccination status. And while I respect the right of private businesses to make certain health-based decisions which they deem appropriate, I oppose the idea of a government-created vaccine passport. Now, I agree with him on the government vaccine passport. I don't want to get into a situation where the government can put, prerequisites on your ability to move around the country, right? I don't want to go down that road. I do think everybody should get vaccinated, and I'm glad the senator is understanding that some private businesses, if they feel it's appropriate, may have to make vaccination a requirement or may feel like they want to. And again, that's up to private businesses, and everybody can agree or disagree. And if you don't like it, don't work there. Same as with I think you and I talked with smoking bans or whatever. If a business wants to allow smoking, which is currently illegal, but we had that debate about cigar bars at the legislative session, respect that. But I don't do you think he's kind of being a little cute with the whole, I'm not going to tell anybody whether I'm vaccinated or not?
No, here's what Kevin's doing. And again, I mean, I like Kevin. I think Kevin is one of the most open and accessible politicians there are out 100%. There. He's not afraid to go on any radio show, any podcast, any TV show. What he's doing here, you know exactly what he's doing. Look, if he says he got it, then he's gonna piss off a ton of people that are anti-vaccination people. If he said I didn't get it, then it's the other way. So he's just leaving it, for you to guess. At the end of the day, I could care less what politician got a vaccination or not. I could care less what celebrity is getting a vaccination. Like you and I have talked previously, I think we did on your podcast, also on my show, is I think the government is going about, I just read again today, the vaccinations, people are just, they're backing away from them. At the end of the day, the government out there spending money to pay either celebrities, whether they're sports figures or Hollywood figures, if they think that these people are going to change minds of people to get vaccination, they are so out of touch with reality. I think the best thing that the government can do, number one, is stop this push on the vaccine, because the more the government pushes, the more we're going to push back. The best thing they could do is run an ad campaign that just simply says, look, it's your choice. It's between you and your doctor. Talk to your doctor about the COVID vaccine and leave it at that. Quit pushing it down our throats. But Kevin, what Kevin's doing is he's a smart politician. He's not rocking the boat. And personally, it's none of my business if Kevin got it or not.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I guess what kind of struck a little bit of a false tone is like you said, he is somebody who's not afraid to go on any show. He usually doesn't leave a lot of ambiguity about where he is on an issue, and it kind of feels like in this instance, he's punting. And I agree with you. I think I made this same argument during, obviously I was very much pro-mask, but I made this argument where things like mask mandates, I think when you get too heavy-handed, you're going to encourage people to just dig in their heels, right? Like it's like with my kids, right? Like if I make a big deal out of something, they're going to say no. But if we just kind of keep it low-key and just kind of do it, they don't object. And I hate to compare the masses to a 5-year-old, but that's kind of how it is. Like if you make a big deal out of something, then you're going to have a certain number of people who are just going to dig in their heels and be obstinate about it. I wanted people to choose to wear masks because I thought at the time, and again, speaking at when we were pushing masks the hardest, was a time where we still didn't know a lot about the virus. And with vaccines, I look, the efficacy of the vaccine, I don't think is in doubt. Even locally, we had that headline, I think it was last week, where like 16 people at a nursing home, even after they got vaccinated, contracted the coronavirus. But these are elderly people. Not one of them ended up in the hospital.
Yeah. And the vaccine is not 100%.
It's not.
So you are going to have cases where people are going to still get COVID, just like the shingles, just like a lot of these vaccinations. But again, the problem is it got rushed through, and that scares people. Sure. And the government's push on it is making people push back. I'm telling you, mark my words, if the government just backed off on this and got off this push it and ram it down our throat thing, you would see more people going out and getting the vaccination. And I think a lot of people, Rob, I think they're waiting to see what the outcome is.
Sure.
6 months from now, a year from now, you may see the numbers skyrocket just like the flu, because people are going, well, wait a minute here. What happens 6 months or 10 months from now? What kind of side effects? And if there are no, yes, people have died. That's horrible. But people die from all vaccinations, or most vaccines. I don't want to say all, but you're always going to have that. The numbers
There's always side effects. And listen, any given individual's health matrix is going to be complex. So
that's right.
It's hard for even the most dedicated, even the most brilliant medical minds to account for every single individual health matrix out there. It's going to be fine. And again, just talk to your doctor. I think that's the best thing, like you said, Jay. All this talk about, well, we're going to have a vaccine passport and you're not going to be able to get on a plane to do this or that. You're just going to make people dig in their heels, because I think almost everybody, I think there's a very, very small percentage of people that are just 100% anti-vaccination, and no amount of data is ever going to sway their mind. I think there's a larger group of people who are vaccine hesitant who just need to be persuaded. And
But the government isn't the way to persuade them.
No, I think what that's going to take is going to take time, and they're going to have to see a lot of their friends and neighbors, and they're going to have to look at data as the vaccines go, how many people have been hurt, what are the long term, and eventually they'll get them. And I think we're going to get there. I mean, that's part of it too, is people who are pro-vax need to be patient too. Right. Yeah. Don't freak out because people aren't just immediate. I got the vaccine. I was convinced, but I don't necessarily begrudge my neighbor who may or may not want it. He's maybe still on the fence and just doesn't know. Yeah. I don't begrudge people that.
It's just, and through this whole thing, the goalposts constantly get moved, whether it's the timeline on COVID, whether it's the masks, whether it's the vaccinations, and I get it, it's science, and this was something new, but at the end of the day, I think a lot of us, and I'm one of them, I just look at it and go, these people they are constantly moving the goalposts. It's like they're throwing stuff up against the wall, hoping it sticks and works, and that is not helping either. And it also doesn't help when you're holding our freedoms over our heads. Well, if we get to this point, then you can have this. No, this is America. I already have this. I get this. Don't start taking stuff because I'm going to push back on you. I saw today that the TSA, I think it was it May 11th, where the TSA, I think it was the mask mandate was going to come up for airlines, and now move that to September. It's just people see stuff like that and go up. Once again, it's been moved. This whole thing with President Biden and his. I swear, honestly, Rob, I swear some of these politicians think they're up giving the speech from the movie Independence Day. We beat the aliens, and this is the greatest day in America. When President Biden did that speech on, and we're going to be in your backyard, and you're going to be barbecuing on the 4th of July with your families, we're going to get there. Kiss it, pal. A lot of us are already doing that, and don't try to hold that as something that we can have if we do what you tell us to do. That's the attitude a lot of people have.
Also, I'm laughing at Joe Biden celebrating the success of a vaccine that frankly is available at this point, in part, and not a small, as much of a Trump critic as I am, in part because of the Trump administration, right?
Yeah, and he won't give credit to
him. He won't get credit. And listen, the politicians and the news media, they always profit, whether they're profiting in attention and they're profiting in money. They profit from every single thing being that Independence Day speech that you're talking about.
That's right.
The volume on everything is turned up to 11 these days, and that doesn't help anything, frankly. But
exactly.
Yeah. So what else are you looking at for this afternoon?
On the show, what do I got going? Oh, I got the North Dakota lockout. I see that we're going to do the electronic posting of your land. Very outspoken a person when it comes to landowners' rights. And I always love having him on because he tells it like it is. Clayton Peterson's going to be on at 3 o'clock this afternoon. You and I, of course, at 2 o'clock. Really, the rest of it, it's just at this point, I'm kind of on a wing it Monday. We'll see what pops up today. I see that the Buffalo amusement park up by Jamestown kind of got a little bit of a hit.
It got yanked. Yeah, it got yanked out of the it was in the Commerce Department budget, and it got yanked out at the end. And I mean, listen, I consider myself to be fiscally conservative. In fact, I am fiscally conservative. And all you Trump lovers out there who think that I've gone liberal, I just want to remind you that from day one of the Trump administration to the end of the Trump administration, the national debt grew 41%. All right, so that's a problem. I don't care who's president, but I mean, people out there making a fiscal, the state doesn't need an amusement park. There is a real danger. And I had Jeff Hoverson, who's one of the Bastiat Caucus guys. He's a state representative from up here in Minot. He was the guy who sponsored the anti-mask bill. So I had him on, and we had a long discussion about what does conservatism mean? What doesn't it mean? And I think we need to be careful. Those of us who are right of center need to be careful about just being against everything. What we need to be for is for efficient government that doesn't violate our rights. Yeah. But I don't think there's anything wrong with saying that there is a role in government in promoting, especially in North Dakota, where long-term we have a hard time getting people to want to move to North Dakota, right?
And even stay here.
Right. And we see those headlines where, North Dakota's the least visited state in the nation. What's there to do in North Dakota? It's so boring. I mean, that's an obstacle for the sake of the prosperity of our state, the prosperity of our communities. That's an obstacle North Dakota has to overcome. So if we can help overcome that by spending, $5 million in an appropriation plus making a loan from the legacy fund, a loan that'll be paid back, by the way. Yep. If we can combat that by building a Medora level attraction, right now it wouldn't have been the same as Medora, but that level of attraction in Jamestown, right on I-94, which is one of the most trafficked highways in our state. Why wouldn't we want to do that? That just makes sense to me.
Well, and let's not forget that this group already went to one of the, if not the top companies when it comes to amusement parks in the country. And I'm blanking the name out right now, but I mean, these are people that do stuff at Disney. And again, at the end of the day, the key here too is that it has to be done right. You put the big rides in there. I mean, do your Buffalo themes, but make it something where people are going, yeah, let's go. And while we're there, we're going to go out to Medora.
Well, the other thing too is
nothing to do with North Dakota. I don't get that.
It's such a wonderful.
Plenty to do here.
Yeah, North Dakota is a wonderful place, and I don't care what part of the state you live in, west, east, north, south. North Dakota is such a wonderful place to visit, such a wonderful place to live. I love it here. So I don't know. One of the cool things too is the, and by the way, the project in Jamestown's not dead. They think they can go forward. They wanted the legislature to help prime the pump a little bit, but they can. I think they can get there on their own steam too.
Yeah, they can still go back, I believe, and get that $60 million loan if it's approved. They just aren't getting the $5 million.
Well, I wonder if they qualify. I should have asked them this question. I wonder if they qualify under that new, because we have the new Legacy Fund investment program, right? The in-state.
From what I understand, they would still.
Okay.
They've got to raise some money to get. I believe they got to raise $5 million, and then the state, whatever that new thing is, looks at it. They just wanted that other $5 million for the state to kick in,
right?
That they wouldn't have to pay back.
Prime the pump a little bit, but I just, and one of the exciting things too is the fact there would have been a music venue there. All due respect to Fargo, those of us who live west of I-29, sometimes we would like to see more concerts and more music acts, and there's venues, there's other venues, obviously Medora and every, Bismarck has venues, but it would be nice to get, have places for that sort of thing. That's not necessarily Fargo or Bismarck or Grand Forks. Jamestown's a wonderful place. So yeah, I was sad to see that not go forward as well.
Oh, well, hopefully they still push on this thing and they get the backers and this thing happens.
Right.
I know. I think their goal was to have it open 2024 or 2025. I think start breaking ground in 2022, and I hope they still push it. I think it's a fantastic idea, and I'm a firm believer if you build it and build it right, they will come.
I agree. So the weather's getting nice. What you got? Any big spring plans?
Nothing. Just sit back, drink some Miller J Life. That's about it.
Drink them outside instead of inside.
What's that?
Drink them outside instead of inside.
That's right. Got the backyard, hang out. No, not really. I mean, we're going to start filming season 4 of rides, and that'll start happening probably in July. So I'll be doing a lot of traveling again. And I got to tell you, prior to my TV show Rides, I didn't travel. I'm just not a guy that likes to travel. I traveled for so many years in radio. And once we started getting out and around North Dakota and Minnesota, South Dakota, I got to tell you, man, you drive through North Dakota. I love getting on 94 and heading west. I love it out there. There's some cool stuff. I like the scenery, and I got to tell you, the stuff that we run into is just unbelievable. So I mean, this summer it's just going to be more filming of rides, man.
I don't know if you caught the headline. There was over the weekend. There was an anniversary meetup of geocachers. I think we've talked about this on your show before. If you're looking for something to do, and it's like you get that feeling. Sometimes I get that feeling. It's like I want to go somewhere and do something, but I'm not sure what.
Yeah.
I load my kids into the truck and we pull out. All you need is a smartphone, right? Because there's an app. It used to be you had to have a GPS and everything, but now with smartphones, it's all right there in the app. And go find some geocaches. I will tell you.
Do this?
Oh yeah. Oh, it's popular.
Oh, I thought this thing was gone and over.
Oh no, it's 25 years strong now.
25 years this has been going.
Yeah, it started in Oregon. I will tell you, there is no. Well, you just find people hide them. They'll hide them in a park. A lot of times, most of the time, it's just a little log. Sometimes there's little trinkets. So you bring something and you put it in. And you take something out, but I mean, most of it is you sign the log, you sign your name on the log that you found it. I mean, that's the challenge. Okay. Sometimes you got to solve a puzzle. Sometimes it's just it's just hidden under a log or something. But I will tell you, for something that will get you into parts. I mean, I've discovered parts of Minot. Like I didn't even know this was here in town. Like a cool looking house or a little park that we didn't know about, or getting out into the country. We found a church one time by Harvey that had this really cool like Stations of the Cross. And I'm not religious at all, but these sculptures were just beautiful, and it's
Yeah.
just out in the middle of nowhere in North Dakota. So a lot of times there's little stories, maybe the person's from there or it's an old farmstead or something. If you're looking for something to do this spring to get you out, get you moving, get you seeing parts of your community, your state that you maybe haven't seen before, boy, I can't think of a better way to do it. It's great. It's so much fun.
But I guess that's like for rides. That's geocaching for me and my crew for cars. We can't believe the stuff that the guys have that you would never guess. These massive collections, these beautiful cars. And in the meantime, while we're doing that, we get to see cool stuff around the state. It's the same thing here and in Minnesota.
It's got to be that big too. We've all driven by like the guy, and like you could see in his yard, or you could he'll have his garage door open, and you see as you're driving by, and you're like, gosh, I'd really like to stop and check out all that guy's cars, but I'm not going to be like a stranger being like, hey, let me in your garage, right? He's gonna think you're casing the joint or something. But
it's amazing though, Rob. It's funny you say that because there are a lot. I would say probably 80% of these guys that we film. I mean, you would never guess that in that barn is this unbelievable collection of whether it's Mopars or Corvette, whatever it might be. How many of these guys go, oh yeah, people heard about my collection and they come knock on the door and yeah, we let them come in and take a look at it. It's amazing how open a lot of these guys are. And the other funny thing is too, as I say that, I will have people that will, hey, they'll email me. Where's that collection? I want to. No, we don't give out that personal information. You gotta geo-car that yourself, man. We're not giving that info out. But yeah, it's been fun traveling and just like I said, not just seeing the cars, but the small communities. Whether it's here in North Dakota or over in Minnesota, or even down in South Dakota, you stop at these communities, grab a bite to eat. I didn't even know there's this. We were up in Minot filming for this upcoming season. And I lived in Minot years ago. I wasn't there a whole lot, but for a long time. But man, we went and ate at this because one of my camera guys, Cody, he's from Minot, Cody Rognes, and he's like, we get to Minot. He goes, okay, we have to go have lunch here. And I think it was called Charlie's Cafe.
Oh man, we go to Charlie's every single Saturday. I go there so often. I don't even have to order. It's like norm. They just bring my food to the table because they know what I go in and get the Main Street omelet every time. And it's fantastic. Charlie's is an absolute hidden gem. It's right downtown.
The food is unbelievable. And then we went to a place, I think is it Burlington, just outside of Minot?
Yep,
it was
Burlington.
Called the Hacienda.
Oh yeah, the legendary Hacienda.
Smokes, man. If you're ever in the Minot area, people go to the Hacienda.
The prime rib. Get the prime rib. It's fantastic. Before we wrap things up, I have actually somebody who's listening to us on Twitter said Rob, and talking, earlier in the show we were talking a little bit about the vaccine stuff. Said Rob Port should just invite dissenting parties onto his show to discuss vaccines respectfully. Instead, he trots out this absurd red herring of vaccine haters to vilify those not taking the shot. Truth seekers don't need red herrings, Bob. Cowards and liars do, which I think is a little unfair because I feel like we've had a respectful discussion.
What unrespectful? I simply said, look, if you want to get it, get it. If you don't, that's your choice.
Yeah, I do. What I would say is I don't understand the people having a hostile reaction to people, and I would say the same if you're pro-vaccination, don't like go on somebody's like if you're heckling them, you're just making it less likely that they're going to get the vaccine. But I'm all for having a respectful conversation. And by the way, I think the debate over the vaccine is distinct from the debate over things like vaccine passports. Like I'm very much for vaccines. I am not for the government saying you can't get on an airplane unless you're vaccinated. I'm not for that. So
I'm not worried about the government doing whether it's on a federal or state level, a vaccine passport. The government knows what that would do to this country. If a business wants to do it, hey, look, I'm all about capitalism. I'm all about the free market. If a business wants to do a vaccine passport, that's their decision. Now, does that mean that I'm going to go get my shot because if I don't, I can't go into that business? That's going to be my decision. But again, if a business wants to do it, fine. And the business will either live or die by that decision. And they'll know real quickly whether that was a good idea or not. I don't see a lot of businesses, at least on a local, smaller level, doing it. I could see Ticketmaster came out months ago, way before there was ever talk about any kind of passport.
Like if you wanted to buy a ticket to a concert.
Exactly. And let's not forget that the Ticketmaster, they're the biggest one. They handle a majority of sporting events, a majority of concerts, whether it's country, rock, whatever. They've been talking about this for months. I don't like it. I don't like the vaccine passport. I think it's ridiculous. But again, that is a private business. If they want to do it, that's their decision, and they can live and die by that.
And again, as somebody who's pro-vaccine, I'll tell you, when you're doing like the people who are pro like vaccine passports and everything, or Ticketmaster or whatever, and they want to keep in place all these restrictions, even though people are getting vaccinated, you're kind of making an anti-vaccination argument. I mean, at some point, if the vaccines work, and they do, then you need to start acting like it. Right? We need to start acting like, okay, we're getting vaccinated. It's having an impact on our society. Listen, North Dakota's, for the most part, fully open, right? I'm trying to think of any restrictions that are really still in place, and we really don't have any. I mean, maybe in certain businesses or something, but for the most part, North Dakota's open. We've been open for a while, and what's happening with our COVID numbers, right? They're hovering. The number of active cases is hovering down around 1,000. The number of hospitalizations is hovering around 30. It ain't really going up that much. It ain't really going down that much. That is what it is. We can live with that, right? It still sucks that people are getting sick, but we can live with that.
And it still sucks that people are dying from car accidents and people are getting sick and dying from other stuff. And look, COVID, I have come to the conclusion that COVID, we're going to live with it for the rest of our lives. It's going to be like the seasonal flu. It is what it is.
Yeah. Jay, I thank you for your time, and we'll talk to you at 2 this afternoon.
All right, brother. Thanks, Rob.